Wrong intro, but that's okay. Buddy. Yeah, it's been one of those days. Welcome to We the People Unite. Happy Wednesday, or not so happy Wednesday. We got some really bad news today. We've had some really bad news for this new year, and we're only in what day? 7?
Mm-hmm.
Day 7, and it's already a hellscape.
It was the first 6 days of 21, wasn't it? Or when Biden when the insurrection? That's 5 years ago. It was the first 6 days in.
So that's something we need to acknowledge. That yesterday was the anniversary, 5th year anniversary, right, of January 6th. And we're not going to touch a lot on that today. I do want to talk about that towards the end just a little bit. But I'm sure everyone heard the horrible, horrible news out of Minnesota this morning and what happened with ICE. So I'm just going to play this clip, and then we're going to take a look at different media perspectives on this incident, and then let's talk about it. So first we have from the Bulwark, the actual video. So, it is disturbing, and everybody puts that caveat on it. So I just want to make sure that we do that as well. It's heartbreaking.
To get context for what happened. So why don't we do that first?
But let's play the video and we'll get reaction on the other side.
No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking God! What the fuck? What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do?
It's horrible. I mean, it's it's an execution is really what it is. And the person is killed that is in her car. What we know so far from Senator Tina Smith, Democratic senator from Minnesota, is she's a 37-year-old woman, a citizen. Doesn't appear from that video that she is a target of this operation. There's a lot of protesters out there. You can hear the other community members kind of blowing whistles and screaming at the ICE agents. And you do see the one ICE agent try to open her door and tell her to get out. And the other pick up his, point his gun at her as she tries to pull away, and then shoots her 3 shots. It is reminiscent to me a little bit of the George Redis situation. I'd interviewed George Redis, who was in California in the past with ICE, and he was trying to drive to work, and the ICE agents were telling him that he can't go past, and then he was trying to reverse to get out of the way, and then they end up breaking down his window, tackling him, then he gets put in prison for like 3 days. Another American citizen and a veteran. It's reminiscent of that, and this it's just tragic, and we're going to wait to hear more about the woman that died. But this was an inevitable result of the way that ICE has been acting. I mean, you have these masked agents in what appears to be a suburban neighborhood in
Minneapolis.
There's nobody even Minneapolis. There's nobody even making an allegation at this point that the driver of this car was was dangerous or a target of that investigation. The spokesperson for DHS is saying that they were a protester who was a domestic terrorist or whatever. But that rhetoric shows that they consider that person just to be a protester, so they weren't there to arrest the driver of that car. And so it's I mean, there's no need for pulling a gun on somebody that is protesting. I mean, the woman's obviously trying to leave. She does, and it's worth saying that the car does go kind of close to the guy that shoots her, but he avoids the car easily while firing multiple shots and executing her. So, and his life didn't seem to be in that grave danger. And there's just no reason to have, why are masked agents showing up in these neighborhoods, menacing people, carrying weapons, pointing weapons at folks? In an armed country like ours, I've been saying from the start, I've been surprised that somebody hasn't tried to pull a weapon on one of the masked guys just because they are carrying a concealed weapon. And this is just kind of another version of that, horrifying potential outcome where if you have...
Let's stop right there. they go on. We have several different kind of perspectives on that. So after watching the video, and I know you've seen the video already before we came on, but what is do you agree with them?
Well, I was wondering why the first car went by. It was a car that went by him before they made her car stop. You know, he swung by her car and they didn't make that car stop.
Well, she backed up to allow that car to go by because she was still, in other words, being nosy.
Yeah, but then that's what I'm saying. But they didn't try to stop that car.
But they told her she can go. They said to her, "You can go ahead and go." And that's what she was trying to do. But the other agent with the ego that was in front of the car stepped in because he wanted to prove a point to this whole neighborhood.
But what I'm saying is there was another car that went by her first. In the beginning of that video, another car drove in front of her and drove off. And I don't understand why they held her back and then she had to wait for permission.
Yeah, we're going to see the video a few more times. So quite a few people covered this. So let's keep an eye on those little details because I think those are important. I heard that it's the 5th death shooting since January from ICE or from, that could be?
From ICE.
Yeah.
I will say there's absolutely no excuse for ICE. And this was murder to me. And something I hope is going to be done about it.
Let's hope. Let's get a similar perspective, but just more people talking about it. It helps kind of gain some
warning about all along since Donald Trump and Stephen Miller unleashed this mass deportation nightmare on the United States. Let's go to my friend Nick Valencia, independent journalist, been covering the immigration issue nonstop. And Nick, what's your sense of what we're seeing right now? What is the latest information? Do we believe that this was an American citizen, that this was somebody? I mean, when we look at the video, it seems to me, you look at it from a couple of different angles. I don't see how Kristi Noem can say domestic terrorism. It just like, you'd have to like cover your eyes and ears and not even look at what happened.
I mean, what eyewitnesses are saying is, yes, they saw domestic terrorism, but it wasn't on the part of the woman. It was on the part of the federal agents who have been terrorizing Americans every single day since the first week of June. I mean, that's the irony in this is people are really literally risking their lives at this point to record what's happening on the streets of America. And the only way that we actually get the truth of what's happening is because people are recording. And yet, you have a journalist like myself who is reluctant to post what's already out there on the internet because of what DHS has broadly described as interfering with federal operations. Yeah. And this is what they said in this point. I mean, look at this video.
Look at this video. I mean, let's look at it. To me, is she ramming? I mean, she's trying to she's trying to get away from these officers who she may feel were threatening her. And I have to think that that's what she was thinking. But even if she's trying to resist arrest or what, I mean, those are not grounds for blowing somebody away. And it just looks like, I mean, as she's fleeing, if you look at this sort of frame by frame, it almost is like, Nick, as she's fleeing, the officer starts to shoot. It isn't in the moment where he's being maybe contacted a little bit by the car.
They're giving her contradictory commands.
Yes.
He seems to be at the front of the car and close enough to the car where he could potentially argue that he feared for his life, but not close enough for somebody with common sense to believe that he could have gotten out of the way in time. The other thing is, like I said, contradictory commands. So she's backing up. You're telling her to turn around. What does she do? Open the door, turn around, get out. And so in a case like this, where there is certainly panic involved, your adrenaline is up, she's turning away. And if you freeze frame this, which we have, other independent journalists have, you see the agent on the side, not in front. And that takes away the argument that he feared for his life. You have already security analysts who say this is not a shooting of merit and that they wouldn't justify it.
Yeah, Nick, the other issue in all of this, and you and I have talked about this before, is we've now reached a point, I think this is what Mayor Fry was talking about in Minneapolis earlier, where just the mere presence of ICE and having these officers in these communities going Rambo on the situation they have made the situation more dangerous. The administration, ICE, they have made the situation more dangerous. And that adds to a level of volatility that can result in these kinds of episodes. This is why, going back to my conversation with Mitch Landrieu, former mayor of New Orleans, law enforcement agents, law enforcement officers are taught to de-escalate so you don't have these kinds of tragedies.
And here's the context and the backdrop here. This all happened during the largest scale operation during Trump 2.0. They just sent 2,000 federal immigration agents to the state. You know how much we track this at Nick Valencia News. And I had seen a ramp up of the videos that were coming out from, different social media sites. We saw a propaganda video from Kristi Noem where she's surrounded by dozens of agents in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, arresting one person. And so we'd started to see more and more. And this is also against the backdrop of the conservative propagandist Nick Shirley, who claimed all of this alleged fraud at Somali daycares. And he really radicalized a lot of people into believing this misinformation, where he's showing up at daycares during the holiday to perform this stunt under
sort of like a low rent James O'Keefe kind of thing.
It's so, but you know what? He is, I would love to say, I agree with your assessment, but this guy is who the new generation looks at. He's got over 1 million followers, and he's becoming this person that's propped up by the administration where they brag about winning the youth vote. It's people like Nick Shirley. I'm getting attacked just by name association alone, where people, you get it all the time. You're the first person to tell me about the bot army with Trump.
So let's stop that one here. They talked about the mayor. Let's listen to the mayor first, and then we'll talk about what they said in addition to what the mayor says. But he confirmed it was 2,000 people. Whoops. On stage. There we go.
Are going to do everything possible to get to the bottom of this, to get justice, and to make sure that there is an investigation that is conducted in full. But what we do know is that a 37-year-old woman is dead and that she was shot by ICE. We've dreaded this moment since the early stages of this ICE presence in Minneapolis. Not only is this a concern that we've had internally, we've been talking about it. They are not here to cause safety in this city. What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people. So they are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed. As soon as it happened and we learned of the incident, we had several priorities. The first, of course, was to get the victim to the hospital and to get care as soon as possible. To the family, I'm so deeply sorry. There's nothing that I can say right now that's going to make you or your relatives or the friends of the victim feel any better. There were, I believe, 2 Minneapolis police officers that responded and were in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. The second was to get ICE off of the scene. There were dozens, if not hundreds, of ICE and federal officers that were there at the time. Having them there was only causing more chaos. Having them there was only making a difficult situation even more problematic, and one that, yes, they created themselves. There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
Here.
We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave. It's on you to make sure that further damage, further loss of life and injury is not done. We're going to be working towards justice as quickly as we possibly can right now, and justice is what we've all got to get. Next, a message to our community. Look, we all know that the agenda of this Trump administration is to create chaos. Let us respond right now with our best versions of self. This is a moment where all of us in Minneapolis and beyond, we can rise to the occasion. We can show them who we are. We can show them the kind of courage, bravery, love, and compassion that makes Minneapolis, Minneapolis, and that makes America, America. We are better than a bunch of ICE agents being deployed to cities around the country and ripping apart families and communities. We're better than that. And so we are going to meet that hate with love. We are going to meet that despair with hope. We are going to meet that injustice with constitutional justice ourselves. And we're going to make sure that in this very difficult moment, we do not take the bait that these ICE agents are trying to create and that the federal government, to be clear, wants. They want us to respond in a way that creates a military occupation in our city. They want an excuse to come in and show the kind of force that will create more chaos and more despair. Let's not let them. Let's rise to this occasion. Let's show them something far more beautiful than the kind of division that they're trying to stoke. Let's show them unity of purpose, of love, and the courage of our conviction. Our conviction, to be clear, is rock solid, and it is for our neighbors, all of our neighbors. It's for people who have lived here for 80 years. It is for new immigrants who have made this city a better place. That's the kind of love that we're going to show up with right now. If you're angry, I get it. I am too. If you're feeling that kind of despair, it's understandable. Let's show them who we can be. Let's show up with peace. To march, to protest, to hug one another, to love all the way with peace. Do not give them what they want.
I'm going to stop right there.
I am so disgusted with this country. I am so disgusted with this country. I cannot express how much I am angry with this country. I'm fucking embarrassed to be living here. I'm embarrassed I have to call myself an American citizen. Like, this is ridiculous. And I can't even believe that we're here. I cannot believe that we're here. And there's still people who don't have any clue what's going on. They have no clue. This is absurd. This should be it. This should be it. This should be the straw that broke the camel's back. We have the media pretending that it didn't happen the way it happened. This is absurd. Like, this is the time for people to fight back and say this is enough. I can't. I can't.
I know. We all feel it. How do you stay strong?
I don't know, because I don't have it.
No, we've never faced this. This is the first time that we've ever faced a person like this in office. And the fact that they haven't impeached him, or, you know, whether they do Article 2, Section 4 and get him and his entire cabinet off, or if they do Article 25 and get him out. This man he's ill. He has so much hate in him that he wants to pour his hate throughout the country. And if that's the kind of, and the other people are so scared of him, and I'm like, scared of one man. You know, it's over 300 plus million people in this country, and we can all go and put this one man out. I don't know what we're waiting on. He's a terrible person.
We need GOP to get a backbone.
Mm-hmm.
Is what we need.
And
until they get a backbone.
He was elected to spew all his hate, but it doesn't mean we have to like it, and it doesn't mean we have to continue to deal with it. No, we didn't ask for it. You say you asked for it. We didn't know he was going to be this hateful.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I think we did.
I don't think I thought he was going to be as hateful as he is. I mean, this stuff is awful.
Yeah,
awful.
I didn't see ICE coming. So you're right. I did not see ICE coming.
A lack of imagination is why we're here.
Okay.
Lack of imagination is why we are here. He has been a depraved human being from childhood because he was abused. He was not loved by his father. And then if you just listen to Stephen Miller for a moment, you understand everything that is happening right now. So I cannot tolerate the whole, I didn't vote for this. I don't know what's going on. There are people who don't know what's going on. You have to be living under a fucking rock to not know what's going on. There are no more surprises.
No, pure hate.
There's no more surprises anymore. This is an effort for global colonization and ethnic cleansing of the United States. That's what this is all about.
Yep.
That's what Project 2025 was all about. And we all had access to it.
Yeah.
We all had access to it.
Yeah, and we kept going and telling people, but I still say, we didn't expect ICE.
Well, with the mass deportations, of course.
I know he was trying.
Not to this extent.
Yeah, it just, it's just worse than. I've never seen someone so corrupt that he gonna go to another country and get Maduro, and he worse than Maduro.
The thing is, we don't need imagination. You can look at people who own slaves to see how depraved humanity can get. That's already happened.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that too.
Yeah.
But people don't know history, or they want to deny it.
Yeah.
Humanity,
it's funny to me that Hispanics that they said, well, I didn't know he was talking about me. I'm like, but he said Hispanics. He said Guatemala, Nicaragua. He said everybody. Remember the S-hole countries?
Well, you know what? You do have to look at history, and I'm afraid it isn't out there. People don't even know that there was a Holocaust or Nazism. They think that's all false. That comes to me all the time. How could you not know that this is very similar to what's happening to us in this country right now? That's very concerning.
Yeah, Mo, the one thing you brought up is so evident, and more people, independent news, are talking about it, and that is Stephen Miller, because he's the one who is running the show. And people need to understand that. And people need to really listen to what that man is saying. Because
and the people that are in the chat that agree, they're just as racist as he is. because this is not happening to them. And so
Correct.
you can say it's not Democrats. Anybody with a heart wouldn't want to treat people like they're treating people.
Right. And that's
Wow, we've really hit it big, guys. You've got quite a few trolls in the
I'm
chat.
glad to hear, 'cause I want to tell them
We
how
do.
I feel too.
Just
They
make
need
sure
to
you hit the like button, subscribe if you want
like
to.
and subscribe.
Yeah,
That's
please.
it.
Thank you.
Hit the like
Thanks
button.
for
Go
the
fuck
read.
yourselves. Goodbye.
Since they
Goodbye,
feel
trolls. Go fuck yourselves.
exactly, since they feel like this is the Karen Bitch session, welcome to the Bitch session. All right.
That's what I say.
Say the shit to my face. Then we can fight.
Yeah, they won't show you. They can type, but they won't
Well,
show
yeah, they
their
want to
face.
be all big and bold behind the screen.
Even
but they don't
ICE
show
with the
my face.
mask. ICE won't even show their face. They
Correct.
cowards. Trump's the
Correct.
one when you show his hand, talking about he been shaking too many hands. He been wiping too many asses.
Maybe all of them are married to ICE agents, or they are ICE agents. Well, welcome to the show. Please hit the like.
Welcome. Yeah, please hit the like button. Subscribe.
But when
Continue,
it's your
Joe.
sister getting shot, we ain't gonna cry.
They're just showing that they have hate in their hearts, these
Mhm.
children, and they have too much time on their hands.
Yeah.
And, get a life. Get a life.
Mhm.
Nothing to do. They probably don't have jobs. I mean, in this great economy that they're
Matter of fact, he
present
give us something to say. He give us somebody to get our anger out at. Thank you for coming.
I do want to say that I goes out to the family of Renee Nicole Good, her son, who is now an orphan,
Yes.
her wife, who is now a widow, and any of her family and friends who loved her.
Yes.
She lost her life for no reason. She was murdered for no reason. And my heart
100%.
goes out to everyone who cared for her.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, Keisha. Yes, absolutely. Let's just show the mayor talked about getting out on the streets. That's exactly what the people are doing. There's no sound, but this is what's been going on in Minneapolis. So we'll just show a little bit. And they are calling for a No Kings protest this weekend. Is that what we're hearing?
Yes, on Saturday. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So it is time for us to get back out. This is what we anticipated. Maybe not exactly this way, but we knew things were going to get worse. And all the experts have said it. And we've been embracing ourselves or bracing ourselves for it, unfortunately. And so we just have to keep resisting and keep standing up and keep speaking out and keep showing how ugly this country has become. And just like you said, Keisha, I don't recognize this country anymore. And I don't understand why all the hate.
And this country never belonged to the white man. It didn't belong to the white man. When they came here, it was Indian, Native American Indians, and it was Hispanics, it was Mexicans, it was Black people. It wasn't they came over here and they're using the same kind of hate they used then now. And
it's funny how no one's
we're gonna fight back.
It's funny that no one's talking about the Epstein file. I'm not putting no power to them. We want to see those damn files. It's time for people to go down.
Mm-hmm.
We know who the pedos are. Well, I'm not getting distracted. We're very focused.
And we want to see that second video of them murdering those two men on the water too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
absolutely.
And cutting up Khashoggi.
I haven't forgotten about any of it.
No, but I want to answer. Someone made a comment, you know, that we didn't complain about Biden and Harris. Let me tell you something.
Oh, yes.
They were not breaking the law on a daily basis. They were not stealing money from us right from out from under our nose. They were not corrupt like this. They were supportive of the Constitution. They did everything they could to bring us back on the brink of economic disaster because of COVID. They worked their asses off for this country. And you have the gall to do any comparison between Biden, Harris, and this administration and what they're doing. If you're not seeing what they're doing, you're not getting the truth. You're not getting the information. I suggest you do your homework. I suggest you maybe diversify your information source.
That's right.
Otherwise, you agree with all this. And my question is to you, where's your humanity?
They have none.
And if the Vikings were here first, where are the Vikings, huh? Where the Vikings at? You talking about we're ignorant? You should know your history, because just like they tried to, every time something's happening, they say, "Oh no, no more black books." But y'all were never told the truth. You don't know about black history or white history. You don't know nothing.
So let us just take you to school real quickly. The American Indians were here long before any Vikings. So you need to go back and do your homework. We can't stand ignorance on this channel, because let me tell you, everybody on this channel is very educated and know what the hell we're talking about.
A mind is a terrible thing to waste, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And stop frying it with the bullshit.
Mm-hmm. So we're not
Just
afraid of
saying.
you. Like I said, we'll welcome you to the show. Come on the show. Come on the show. You want to really talk to us?
Yeah, we don't platform flat earthers.
Yeah, so
that won't happen.
Come on the show. You want to really talk?
We draw the line of flat earthers.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Oh, there are people who actually believe that. Okay,
Yes,
so let's hear the perspective of a mainstream media news source. See what they have to say.
There's no sound.
Oh, my hubby's in the chat, y'all. Everything you see from Momo D66, that's my boo-boo.
What happened? It froze.
We lost you too.
That's funny. Actually, this one is live. So I was trying to go back.
Okay, may I just point out, I really want to ignore the trolls, but this Keenan person, 7 lonely and miserable women. I only see 6 of us up here, first of all. So maybe we should learn how to count.
None of us are lonely.
And
also, I'm sure he thinks that we need men, because men make women's lives better. Like scientifically, that's been shown that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
White man, are you okay? White man.
Yeah, white man, you okay?
Are you guys okay?
Y'all okay?
I'm sorry. I couldn't pass that one up. I'm like ignoring the trolls, but it's like, dude, learn how to count. Use your fingers if you have to.
And no offense to your husband, Momo. You got a good one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
exactly.
yeah. I got a John Brown.
I was lucky too. I had a good man too.
Yes, ma'am, you did.
I didn't want to lose that one, but yes, absolutely.
I did too, even though I divorced him. He's still a good man.
No, I have actually had wonderful men in my life. I don't know who these
assholes are. Charles Sims. Let me just call out Charles Sims.
Okay.
You must have got some new batteries that you want us to know about. How they working, babe? How they working? You messing with the right one, because we're gonna call you out. You think you're trolling us? You're the joke. All right, we're about business. So Kim, let's continue educating.
All right,
this joke.
So yeah, that one stream. This one's not as bad as the other one, but again, we like to get different perspectives. So that's.
Well, I just think we're doing a good job. If people want to take the time and come watch us.
An ICE-related shooting in Minneapolis. Here's what the city posted. Quote, "We are aware of a shooting involving a federal agent at 34th Street in Portland. We are working to confirm additional information, but what we know is that the presence of federal immigration enforcement agents is causing chaos in our city and making our community less safe." MS Now's Alex Tappett is live at the scene. Also with us, MS Now national security and intelligence analyst Rob D'Amico. Alex, I want you to set the scene, what we know. And I also just want to warn folks that as you walk through some of the folks who have been there protesting, we have heard some colorful language. We've heard a lot of shouting. We want to warn people that we will not be on a delay, but I want you to be able to do your reporting. So tell us the latest that we know.
Well, Chris, it was about 54 minutes ago where we got this confirmation of the shooting involving federal law enforcement right on this block on 34th Street and Portland. Since then, we have seen an escalation of tension between protesters and law enforcement, state law enforcement and federal law enforcement, DHS, Border Patrol, ICE. We saw Greg Bovino here on the scene. That escalation resulted in tear gas being shot at several protesters. I've picked up a canister here, as you can see, muzzle blast CS tear gas. And that is resulting in scenes like the one that you can see right behind me. Marco, if you don't mind, people putting water into their eyes, trying to alleviate the pain, the acidity, which they are feeling. We've also been talking to eyewitnesses who say that they heard gunshots themselves. I want you to hear from the eyewitness directly. Take a listen.
So as I'm driving by, I see a red truck, airbag deflated, with blood all over and a woman on the side of the road, and the ambulance trying to come through.
Now, we also talked to an eyewitness who did not hear the shooting, but did see a car with blood splattered on an airbag. And I want to introduce you to Jamal Osman. He's a city council member, the vice chairman of the city council here in Minneapolis. Jamal, obviously a breaking situation, but what do you know in this moment?
What I know so far was that ICE agency came this morning in our streets and shot somebody on the head. The person was on the car, inside her car, and what I heard was that she was blocking the road, and the ICE agency came out his car and shot her in the head. And sadly, the person is deceased so far, is dead.
And given what we've seen here in Minneapolis, given the immigration enforcement in the last month, given the president's rhetoric towards your Somali community, does what's happening now surprise you at all?
It doesn't surprise me because we don't know where we are right now. This is a home of George Floyd. This is where people continue to protest. And as you can see, hundreds of people are protesting. I spoke to the chief. The chief told me he's trying to get ICE off the street so the crowd can calm down. But obviously it's a crime scene. And what I also know that our officers will not be investigating. This is FBI took over this crime scene. And the individual agency, a federal agency person who shot that person was gone before MPD, our police, got here.
Thank you so much, City Council Member Osman. And
Alex,
Chris,
can I interrupt you? Alex, can you ask the councilman to come?
Let's just stop that right there. They just asked everything we already know. So that was an earlier broadcast. Demonstrations are still going strong. Let me see if I can pull this one back up again.
I read that the people in Minneapolis are throwing ice-covered or snow-covered rocks at the police department.
The
look
police
like
or ICE?
At the police, because ICE is gone. So they have now directed their ire at the police who are there trying to wrangle them from protesting. So they're throwing what looks like snowballs, but the snowballs are rocks covered with snow.
Oh dear.
Wow.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's not good.
I'm not going to cry for them. They're not happy that the police department didn't fight back against ICE being there in the first place. So
yeah, I have a problem with police officers just standing there. And I understand the whole thing about not interfering with federal agents, but you're a police officer. So when you see a crime, aren't you supposed to address that instead of just standing there? I don't understand what everybody's afraid of. I really don't.
It's also blocks away from George Floyd was murdered
Yes.
by that same police department. So I'm not surprised that they're not happy with this department.
Well, again, you have citizens, right, expressing themselves, their First Amendment rights to protest, their First Amendment rights to be there, their First Amendment rights to videotape. And evidently, from what I read, that's part of what the woman was there to do. The gal was there. She was just going to record what was happening. And we as citizens have the right to do that.
And when they were in Washington and had their protest before, and then Donald Trump told them to tear gas them, and while he carried the Bible upside down. And before I forget, I want to say this before I forget, because in Texas, 70% of pedophiles live in Texas. So a lot of these people live here in this state. 70% of pedophiles live in Texas.
Texas does everything big, they say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
All right.
You know, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, and I've already said other people involved in this, Epstein.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get back to that, because look at all these distractions. Interesting, huh?
Mm-hmm. Epstein must be terrible. That's what you know. I agree with August. It must be terrible.
Yeah. Well, let's listen to a little bit of this.
Where ICE has surged agents and officers to this city over the course of the last 48 hours or so. And now this incredibly controversial shooting. You heard just moments ago there, the mayor of Minneapolis tell ICE to get the, in his words, F out of his city. And Governor Tim Walz, we expect to hear from shortly, is also responding to this, suggesting that there will be a state investigation, telling people not to believe what they are hearing from the Trump administration and their perspective on the events that unfolded in the moments before that woman was shot and killed. Again, we're going to bring you Governor Walz the second that he begins speaking. We expect that to happen shortly. But in the interim, I want to bring in retired ATF Special Agent in Charge, Jim Kavanaugh. And Jim, obviously, there will be an investigation into what has happened here. But give us a sense, if you can pull back the curtain here on what's happening behind the scenes on the ground.
Right, Hallie. Well, FBI's called in because they have the jurisdictional responsibility for assault on a federal officer. So that brings them in initially. The BCA, the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, their job is to, investigate a violent death at the hands of a law enforcement officer, which may be justified or
and Jim,
may be
I just want to pause
unjustified.
for a moment to show that video again. Tell us what you see from your perspective as an agent here, because, and I hope, I'm going to ask our control room to see if we can re-rack this and slow it down. It moves pretty quickly, and I want to talk through it, not quite frame by frame, but almost there. And you see some of those officers running up. So we'll re-rack it back to the video where the video begins. A second angle here now. You see the person in the car, the woman in the car, she pulls away. There's an officer who had fired a shot. At this point in the video, the officer appears to have already shot. And then you see she crashes into the cars in front, and those officers run. So while we re-rack this video, Jim, talk us through moment by moment. Here it is.
So there's three ICE agents in the video here, Hallie. You
He's
see
pulling at the door
first
handle,
one
you can
closest.
see. Yep.
Right, that's two there, but there's one in front of the SUV. You can just barely see him.
Yep.
And he's the one who fires his weapon. So he fired 3 shots, according to the report. And there is some still photographs that I've looked at online that do show one clearly from the front shot through the windshield, and maybe 2 bullet holes just below that in the metal frame of the car there. So, what the case will hinge on here is, did the ICE agent who fired his weapon, that's the third one, the one toward the front of the car.
Right, the furthest from our perspective.
Did he have the furthest from our perspective, did he have a reasonable belief that he was in great imminent threat of great bodily harm or serious injury from the vehicle? That's got to be, his belief. If it is his belief, and if in fact a reasonable person could assume that, then he could use deadly force. He would be justified. If, however, he was not, a reasonable person couldn't say, well, no, he wasn't in any threat at all, so therefore he could not use deadly force, and that could be a homicide. But, for example, say the shots were all through the side glass window, Hallie, the passenger side glass window. Well, that would not be a justified use of force in a case like this because the vehicle would be already past the agent. So, shots that are in the front windshield or the front of the car, they kind of tend to support the agent's position. But each video has to be analyzed. The body camera of the 3 ICE agents here has to be carefully looked at. The video of any other witnesses, the statements of the ICE agents, all has to be taken in to consideration. The wounds on the victim, everything has to be looked at carefully. And that's what FBI and the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, the Minnesota BCA, will look at and prefer their reports, one to the United States attorney and one to the district attorney, to make a decision. It's a high bar to charge a federal agent with a crime here. It's a high bar because the proof has to be beyond a reasonable doubt, for a homicide. And so it's going to be a high bar there. The prosecutors make the decision in the end whether they want to proceed on something, but the agencies will make a recommendation whether they see it as justified or not. They will.
All right, I've heard enough.
Yeah, I've heard enough there.
Yeah, that's the other spin, right?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
There's nothing controversial about what happened. It was straight up an execution from probably a cowardly small dick man who was just mad because she didn't get out of the car when they asked her to. First of all, there were conflicting orders.
Commands.
One guy was pulling on her door saying, "Get out of the car." Another guy was saying, "Get out of here."
Mm-hmm.
So that's what she was trying to do. Get out of here. At no point did I see the vehicle hit the guy that shot the gun.
Right.
I don't care if the first bullet went through the windshield. The rest of them went through the side window.
Yeah,
there was no need for him to be shooting at her like that.
He tried to move. She didn't reach out of the car and try to grab him or nothing. It looked like a peaceful, okay, I'll leave.
He shot right away.
Yeah. As Jazzy says, totally agree with her. All those ICE people are insecure little men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of them are thugs themselves. So
Yeah.
this is where
a lot of them will probably participate in the January 6th riot.
That's
And they definitely didn't learn about de-escalation tactics.
Well, that's because they're not trained. They're just put in
No,
these
they're
jobs.
not.
They're given a lot of money. They're put in these jobs with no training.
Yeah.
And this is where we are. So that's kind of enough of that probably for today, right? I do want to put up the screenshot of the woman.
Can I
who was
just
shot.
ask? I saw
Go
that
ahead.
Governor Walz is asking for the protesters not to react violently because that's what Trump wants. What is the recourse for people who are angry and Congress is doing nothing? The president is obviously in on it and the police aren't doing anything. So what else are people supposed to do? Like a riot is a
Well, he's
language.
right.
But
Go ahead, Keisha.
But what's the recourse then? Like they're violent if you're peaceful. They're violent if you're violent.
Right.
People are at their wits' end. Like what is left?
Whoever knew the Supreme Court would not, be fair in their decisions.
At what point are we at the American Revolution Part 2? Is my question.
When the riots start, I think, when this gets to the point where people cannot contain themselves. But we all know that we play right into their plan if we do that.
And
that's what they're trying to prevent.
Yeah, and I think that's why we haven't seen retaliatory violence, because as angry as I am, I know that if I were to and I have a permit for a weapon, if I were to shoot somebody, it wouldn't accomplish much of anything.
Mm-mm.
And so we have to keep our heads. But I do agree with Michelle. National boycott. I know that everybody cannot afford to not go to work, but there are so many different ways that we could hit them where it hurts. And I'm talking about not buying anything unless you absolutely need it, not going anywhere unless you absolutely have to. And if you can't afford to not go to work, don't go to work. Don't go to work. But there needs to be a massive amount of people on the streets.
Right.
There has to be an ever-present. It has to be ever-present. We have
like
to
we
be
said before. Yeah, we need those 8 million people to be in DC.
Yes. Yes. And Keisha, I understand your emotion.
300 million people.
You just came back from overseas. So I get it. I get it. You come back to America, which is supposed to be your home. And it just doesn't feel right.
No, I feel like
It doesn't feel right. You want to be somewhere else. I understand that because I just came back from overseas recently. And it's so different. It's so different. And if people could just understand, it's like the frog in the pot, the slow boiling pot. And that's what they've done to so many of the American people. And I don't know what the solution is at this point.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
It's interesting you say that. And I'm going to say this real quick before we get to August on the Move, because I have some closing comments. But I was watching a little bit of Andor. So if you're a Star Wars fan at all, you know Andor. And in the beginning of that rebellion, the man who's trying to really organize and fund this rebellion pretty much says that very thing. If we sit as a frog in boiling water, nothing happens until the pain is felt deeply.
Yeah.
That's when the rebellion happens. That's when people get up and make that move.
I said, is Black women not coming out by themselves. They have to do it collectively, and it can't be just women. It has to be everybody, you know, the men and women, red, yellow, black or white. It doesn't matter. You know, we need to all need to be at least 30 million. They said it won't make a difference until we get at least 10% of our population out there.
Yes.
Yeah, and it needs to be men, it needs to be women, it needs to be all races, it needs to be gendered, it needs to be age, it needs to be Democrat, Republican, independent. It needs finally for we the people to come together and say, you know what, enough.
We don't want it. We don't want it. Every poll indicates that we as an American society, citizenship, do not want this.
Right.
We don't want it. And so it's going to have to be a collective.
They're too comfortable.
It has to be a collective act of bravery.
That's right.
In November, at the polls, when we come out and vote, please do not stay home. Please do not vote. Please go out and vote.
But the protests need to be now.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Protest, permanent in the streets. You see the people out on the streets. And then in November, please don't stay home because you think that somebody's going to be at the polling place to intimidate you. Like I said, I have a mail-in ballot, permanent mail-in ballot, but I'm going in person to vote. And I may volunteer to be a poll worker just to make sure that the little old lady that might feel intimidated, I will walk her in to the polling place so that she can vote. And I dare somebody to step to me. I dare them.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. Thanks, Mo. Okay, so let's take it down. Let's go to a little bit of August on the move so we can find out what else is going on. August?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening and good night. Venezuela, that's been in the news. The U.S. military seized 2 oil tankers. So you know that not one, now 2 oil tankers. One of them was linked to Russia, from what they say, and it's drawing international scrutiny. Folks have had enough of what Trump and them is saying, especially now he's indicating that he would like to purchase Greenland in that deal. So Trump interested in buying Greenland, not seizing it, but now he wants to purchase it.
Yeah, that's what
Really?
he say.
Yeah, that's what he says. Okay. So we're all on the same page. They still pushing at a Minnesota fraud, and this is what's stirring the pot. But that's on the back burner. Let's talk about RFK Jr. He's indicating and making an announcement that the new dietary guidelines focusing on whole food. Really? Okay. Come on, I'm just taking a pause there. While the mother, okay, raises concern. I mean, this whole thing is ridiculous. Now he wants to take away vaccines and also the AI generated sexualized images. So he wants to remove all of those. The CDC is also cutting routine childhood vaccinations. So that's the recommendation at President Trump direction. So now Trump is getting in the middle of it, saying that the kids don't need vaccines. Yeah, Bitcoin is surpassing its old-time high, and it's reaching a new level in Bitcoin sales. AI, a whistleblower claimed to have fooled the internet with AI, while Elon Musk AI bots faces scrutiny for images generated. So Elon Musk hasn't gone away. His bots are still out there. Ukraine, U.S. Lacks scrutiny guaranteed for Ukraine for the first time. So they're saying that we're giving Ukraine some security in regards to their
Who's
health.
gonna give us some security?
Nobody. It's all
Oh.
propaganda.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad you asked. And last but not least, health and environment. Walmart recalled water bottles. So if you obtain water from Walmart, please check your serial numbers. New coal mine in Wyoming are extracting rare earths. So just be careful when check your water, see where you're buying. Back over to you, Kim.
Now, what about this story about Walmart saying they want to leave the country?
Oh, well, Walmart wants to pull out because of those tariffs. It's costing them way too much money, and their profits are being eaten up.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, from billions to millions, or from high billions to middle billions. Is that? Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, another greedy company. Okay, I have a few where I want you to watch this video one more time, and then I have some comments to close with.
Yep, that was the car I was talking about. Why did they let that car go by but stop her?
No! No! Shame! Shame!
And then shoot her.
God! What the fuck? What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do?
Need to make sure you keep that image.
Yeah. Yeah, so you were right. There was another car.
Like, why'd that car do? Why y'all let that car go on this one? You said stay.
But they they didn't tell her to stay. That car they said to go by. They was telling all cars to move out.
Yeah, and that's what I'm understanding now, that she was getting conflicting
commands. Exactly. One person say to stay, one person say to go. So what she did, she backed up in order to let other cars go while she was being
shot.
Basically.
Yeah. So these are my closing comments here. So we the people, this is the moment, because this is not normal. This is not routine. And this is not something that we can scroll past and hope someone else fixes. When federal power operates without accountability, when communities are traumatized and gaslit, when official narratives change by the hour and truth becomes a battlefield, silence becomes complicity. So this is the moment that we, the people, were warned about, not in textbooks, but in lived experience. So democracy, we said, does not disappear overnight. It erodes when people are exhausted, divided, and convinced that their voice no longer matters. But here's the truth. They don't want us to remember. Power only works when people comply. Truth only dies when people stop defending it. Democracy only fails when people disengage. Resistant does not mean violence. Resistance means witnessing. It means naming reality, the truth. It means refusing to normalize abuse of power. It also means showing up informed, demanding transparency, protecting one another, holding institutions accountable, and refusing to be manipulated by fear, propaganda, or manufactured chaos. This is not left versus right. We've said that. This is people versus unchecked power. And history will not ask whether this moment was comfortable. It will ask whether we were awake. So if you're watching this and you feel unsettled, good. That discomfort is awareness breaking through. And now is the time to speak. Now is the time to organize. Now is the time to stand with communities under pressure. Now is the time to say clearly and collectively, we see what's happening and we reject it. And we will not be silent. We, the people, are still here. And we are not backing down at all. So please, if you want to hear the truth, if you're tired of being gaslit, if you're tired of the bullshit, become part of our community. Subscribe to our channel. And what we promise is we will be here 3 times a week, bringing you as much truth as we possibly can. And yes, we're opinionated. We're going to tell you our opinion on it too. But that's what I had to say today. So thank you, everybody who joined us in the chat, even our trolls. It keeps us grounded in reality, knowing that there are people out there who still support this garbage. Any last words from anybody before we sign off for today?
Stay safe, because you never know if that bullet will have your name on it.
What you mean, support that garbage? Kim?
I'm sorry?
When you said support that garbage.
This administration. Support the garbage, everything that's coming out of this administration. The bullshit, the lies, the corruption, the hatred.
We have to get uncomfortable. We must help one another. When they start really feeling these grocery prices and now their health insurance is gone or is so expensive they can't go to the doctor, can't buy a car, houses are not selling in the United States. They say everybody overbuilt.
Yeah.
Oh no, they'll be happy with the 50-year mortgage.
Jesus.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being here, Andrea. Friday, we'll talk more about this circle of influence that they're talking about, right? The 3 circles of influence, which could be really at the root of all this. So we'll talk about that Friday. Maureen or Mo, Keisha, did you have anything? No, I know.
Stay woke. That's all I can say. Be informed as you possibly can be. Get out of your bubble, get out of the echo chamber, and just open your eyes. Wake up.
I just want to say thank you, Michelle Turner, for showing up. It was really good to hear your comments. And also, Jazzy, our roving reporter out there, you're always in our spotlight.
And Maureen was trying to say something, but she didn't unmute.
There's Maureen. Are you want to unmute?
Here and elsewhere. No, I love being with all of you. I mean, it's important, isn't it? But I know there's so many good people in this country, and we've got to fight against this. And I have loved ones. I have nephews who are trying to pay for their groceries for their children, and a nephew who has an autistic child and is worried about care for him. I see the people suffering right now. It's just me, and I'm doing okay, but I feel today is just devastating, I have to say. That's the way I feel right now, devastated. But we will persevere, guys.
And I had to say to them, we do support independent media. Without independent media, we wouldn't know anything.
No, absolutely.
100%. Thank you, Lindy. And thank you, Michelle, for your comment. I appreciate that. All right, guys, it's been a tough one. So let's take a deep breath and go do something nurturing for yourself for the rest of the evening. And we will see you on Friday. Thanks, everybody. We love you. And we'll
We
see
the
you on
people
Friday.
unite.
We the people are united. Yes.
We the people unite.